The Nintendo Switch 2 Nintendo Direct is exactly 2 weeks away from today, and I am beyond excited to find out what Nintendo has in store for us with their next home console platform. I've made a few videos already predicting what the Nintendo Switch 2 experience is going to be like, but today I want to specifically predict what the Nintendo Switch 2 Nintendo Direct is going to be like. So if that sounds good, let's get into it. And of course we will be reacting to the Nintendo Direct, the Nintendo Switch 2 Nintendo Direct. I'm so looking forward to it. So we've never really had a Nintendo Direct like this before, and I think this is going to be the biggest Nintendo Direct ever. If you remember back, 2017 in January, Nintendo held a Nintendo Switch presentation, and it was a huge event. They showed off a bunch of games, a whole lot of stuff about the platform itself and the hardware that's going to come in the box, and other accessories too. And they showed off video games that they were producing, and also from third-party partners as well. Now it's been 8 years since then, which is a bit scary, but it's been 8 years since then. What's crazy is when that had come out, I just moved out for the first time, and now I own a house. As far as I'm concerned, I'm actually expecting the Nintendo Switch 2 Direct to follow a similar format to what the Nintendo Switch presentation did back in 2017. And what do I mean by that? Well, I mean, first of all, we're going to be starting off with a big presentation of the hardware itself. I'm expecting this Direct to prioritize talking about the hardware experience to begin with. We'll get a reminder of what we've seen already. We're going to see the tablet itself, the Joy-Con, the magnetic connection of the controllers, and then we're going to get a little bit of an in-depth thing about how that works, how deconnecting the controllers works, how the new buttons on the side of those controllers are way better for multiplayer experiences, how the controllers are a little bit bigger, making them feel nicer in the hand as well. These new Joy-Con 2, or whatever they're going to call it, are going to be the highlight of this segment in particular, because they're going to be showing about how much they've learned from the original Joy-Con and how much of that they put into Joy-Con 2. During this time they'll talk about the battery life as well, which I'm predicting is going to be alright. I'm expecting us to go back to more like what the original Switch was like, rather than what the Switch OLED model and also the version 2 Switch LCD model have been like. I'm expecting maybe 3 to 6 hours on the battery as a sort of, I say like a comfortable guess. I don't think we're going to be hitting those really high battery numbers like we do now on the Switch OLED model. Also, I don't think they're going to call it out, but it will be an LCD screen. It's not going to be OLED, it's going to be LCD this time. LCD panels have come a long way, so I'm not too worried about that, but I'm not expecting Nintendo to call it out in any specific way. They'll show off the dock, remind us of the ports that are on the dock, so we can see, oh, here's an Ethernet port, here's some USB ports, so you can charge up your controllers, etc., and other peripherals, and then they'll show us the new Joy-Con straps. And then they'll show us the new mouse mode, or as I've called it in the past, cursor mode. I don't think Nintendo would call it mouse mode because mouse is already a thing, so they're probably going to give it its own name. Cursor mode makes sense to me. We had pointer controls on the Wii, so I don't think it'd be pointer. A lot of the usage around the operating system and everything could be like a cursor, so I think cursor mode makes a lot of sense as a prediction for what this functionality is actually going to be called. Somewhere amongst this hardware showcase, we're also going to get an idea of the release date and the release price as well. Release date is the one thing I'm not sure on. They could save that right till the very end, but I think they're going to want to talk about games that are coming out day and date with the system, so I expect getting the release date out of the way early, it kind of makes sense. But the release date is going to be the 22nd of May 2025. I'm sticking with that. I'm so confident with that date, and I don't know why. I have no reason to be, I'm just guessing. But I guessed it in my original predictions video, and I still feel that that is the right date to go for. A lot of folks have been saying, what about May 15th? That's the date that the Mario Kart Lego comes out. That's the date that the San Francisco store opens. And I say, the San Francisco store opening pretty much confirms that that is not the date that the Switch is going to be released in. I think that's a bit of a stressful situation. I don't think Nintendo could put their employees in that situation. If they did, I would be very, very, very surprised. As someone who has worked in retail for a prolific company in the past, a launch of a store is kind of treated like a product launch in the same vein, so they will consider San Francisco store opening like its own individual product launch. There will be exclusive merch, there will be stuff specifically for people on the day, and they will have the whole celebration going on in the store. They don't want to mask that with the Nintendo Switch 2 coming out. They don't want to kill hype for one with the other. Why have one muddled launch when you can have two separate successful launches? And that's what I think Nintendo's going to go for with that one. So March 22nd, the Nintendo Switch 2 is going to release, and it is going to release for 400 big ones, $400 US. Not sure what that's going to look like in pounds. I guess with the economy how it is right now, we could be looking at £399 as well, and you know, equivalent across other regions. I'm still pretty much stuck to that theory. I'm going to say they don't want to go over that $400 mark. They will if they have to. I think the absolute maximum I could see them charging would be $450 in dollars, but that to me feels like just a little bit extreme. I think that's a pretty safe bet, and I don't think Nintendo is going to want to exceed that amount because they want to sell as many units as possible. So we have revealed the Switch 2. We've revealed the controllers. We've talked about that. We've talked about cursor mode. We've talked about everything. They'll probably introduce another colorway as well. I'm not sure what that's going to look like. At the moment, my theory is potentially a white Switch with the same orange. It's orange, right? It's orange. It's not red. Because, like, people are saying it's red, but it's orange, right? Can someone please help me out with that in the comments? I don't know. I feel like it's orange. I look at it and I'm like, that's orange. It's orange, right? It's like Portal colors, yeah? Yeah. Sorry, yeah, they're gonna reveal a new color. It's gonna be white with the same colorway on the Joy-Con controllers. Because I've noticed as well, like, the insert sections on the console are also colored after the Joy-Con colors, so I guess you can match them up super easily. I'm interested to see how they do alternating colors for Joy-Cons this time around, is basically what I'm saying. Will the connectors always be orange and blue, or will they change colors? I really don't know. So I'm interested to see what that looks like, but I think for the launch, you can have a white Switch or a black Switch. We've now got the release date, we've got the colorways, we've got the price. We're good to go. Nintendo are gonna be like, okay, we've talked about these controllers. Here's a game that takes advantage of that. And then we're going to launch into the 1-2 Switch / Nintendo Land / Wii Sports of the Nintendo Switch 2 platform. We're going to boot into that game that kind of sells the gimmicks, sells you on the console, and also shows off some of the cool things you can do. Specifically, it's going to be focused around the cursor mode thing, and it's also going to be focused around the mysterious button that we don't know, the C button, which is likely for online connectivity. This game is going to be a game that can take advantage of that in a fun new way. We're going to see that easy kind of casual game first. We're going to get that out of the way. It's on launch day. You can get it straight away. There'll be discussions online as to whether or not it is a valuable proposition, and it will cost full goddamn price. Well, no, not full price, but like, it's not coming in the box. It's going to be like $50, £50, whatever. You got to buy it. And it probably isn't going to be worth that much money, but people are going to buy it anyway. I'm gonna buy it. I'm going to buy it anyway. I forgot to mention as well, like during the hardware review, we'll probably start seeing some sneaky peeks of the software that's going to be running on the platform, but I don't expect them to highlight it. I think it'll just kind of be on in the background, and we're not going to see anything. We're going to have to wait for like a software overview video, which will come later down the line. I'm also expecting this direct to last roughly an hour. They haven't actually said how long it should last. I think an hour makes sense. The direct format is really fast paced, but there is a lot to get through with this presentation. And I expect they have a lot of games they want to talk about as well. And so do third parties. I'm sure the third parties have been fighting for slots in this presentation, so I'm expecting a longie. So we start off with the fun game, and then we're going to move into something else. Now, in terms of what it is, it's going to be Mario Kart, isn't it? It's going to be Mario Kart next. It's the game we know about already. We already revealed this, but let's take a deeper dive into what Mario Kart is going to be like on Nintendo Switch 2, and we're going to get a blowout of this game because it's going to be coming out pretty soon. Is it a launch title? Is it not? I haven't decided yet. I mean, it doesn't have to be. It really does not have to be. The thing I think with Mario Kart is it needs to come out early summer. Like, it needs to be out before the summer hits full swing because Mario Kart is a perfect summer game. I don't think it qualifies to be a holiday game. It has to be pretty early into the system's life cycle. And we could potentially mirror what happened with the Switch with this, because Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, it came out a month after the platform launch. So I could see them doing the same thing potentially. Launch the thing in May, Mario Kart 9 comes out in June. That could be a thing because I think they've got other stuff planned for the actual launch date, and they don't want to overwhelm the amount of games they're releasing then and then not have anything else to release for the rest of the year. We've got two big games out of the way. Let's talk about some games that are being improved on Nintendo Switch 2. Nintendo games that are getting a patch. So we're going to start out with Breath of the Wild. I feel like that's a pretty solid one to look at. Here it is running on Switch. Here it is running on Switch 2. Look at the fact that we got rid of the loading times. This is what we're able to achieve with Nintendo Switch 2. That kind of shows off how much of a step up this is. This might be the only time they get kind of technical. The resolution enhancements and stuff like that, you could potentially play it on a 4K display. We still don't know if it's going to be a 4K system. I expect it will be with the upscaling. It just makes sense to bring it in line with modern TVs. But I don't think Nintendo Switch 2 is going to particularly lean on 4K too much other than with upscaling. But this is kind of the opportunity for Nintendo to be a tiny bit, little bit more technical. I don't think they're going to go too deep into things, but talk about, oh, we've got upscaling going on, we've got you know, things enhancing the gameplay, and we've got super fast storage so that those load times are gone. And I expect they'll show some kind of comparison for us, maybe of a loading screen or something for Breath of the Wild, and how that's not there. We have future games planned for this, and they'll show maybe a couple of things, bits and pieces of things that are coming out, maybe Tears of the Kingdom, maybe Mario Odyssey, that kind of thing. And I'm expecting that we're gonna see, you know, maybe a couple of games a year getting this treatment, getting this upgrade. It's not going to be very many, but that's going to be the new drip feed cycle for the Nintendo Switch 2. I think third parties are going to do this as well, and after they've showed their first party teaser, they're then going to talk about third parties that are also planning to do this as well. Stuff from Microsoft, I expect Minecraft will be updated. I expect Fortnite will be updated. You know, the best portable version of Fortnite is about to appear, which is pretty cool actually, because the Switch version sucks. I think with Microsoft we might see like the Ori games as well. I know that was kind of rumored at one point that there may be patches for those, and so they'll kind of just talk through a couple of those third-party games that are going to get patched. They're going to end this section, this kind of upscaled section, saying, and here's an unreleased Nintendo Switch game that is going to benefit from the power of Nintendo Switch 2. Fade to black. Metroid Prime 4 Beyond. We get a beefy new trailer talking about the details of the game. We also get to see the game running on the Nintendo Switch 2. The game already looks amazing. It looks even more amazing running on Switch 2, and they confirm the release date of Metroid Prime 4 Beyond. May 22nd, Metroid Prime 4 Beyond is going to be releasing day and date with the Nintendo Switch 2. It's going to release on Switch 1 and Switch 2, and that is your core gamer launch game. We've got the fun, silly game, now we've got the business game. The one for business. Business gamer game, okay? I'm gonna be so wrong, but hey, that's what predictions videos are for. We're here to be wrong. They're going to talk about Metroid Prime 4, how excited they are to release this game finally, how beautiful it looks on Switch 2. So we've covered a lot so far in the Nintendo Direct. Now I think we're going to hand it over to third-party developers. We start doing some headlines on third-party games that are coming, and I think this is going to be pretty heavy hitters. Like, I just can't see them being like, here's a farming sim or some shit, because they normally have like a real variety of games. You have your big AAA experiences, but you also have all the way back down to indie and everything in between. I think this Direct is going to be more focused on AAA experiences. I'm sure there'll be some indie stuff eventually in there, but I think we're really going to be trying to hit it with like, these are the big games that are coming. Heard about Flight Simulator and Halo. We might finally hear about those ports. I also think we're going to see Elden Ring. I'm pretty certain Elden Ring is coming out on Switch 2. Like, I feel it in my bones. It's the version of Elden Ring I've been waiting for. If it comes out, I'm going to buy it and play it. That's what I think. And I think Elden Ring is going to be a launch game as well. It's going to be a day one game. Definitely Red Dead Redemption 2. I'm definitely expecting that. And a few other games. Meta 4. Could see some Assassin's Creed. Ubisoft will be all over this. They love to sell video games. Not sure about Shadows, but definitely Mirage. Maybe Valhalla or something. I could definitely see that happening too. I also think this is the time when we're going to maybe start to see people from those companies popping up in the Direct, which is not normally something that happens, but I think once again this is a special Direct. You know, we'll have someone from Ubisoft or someone from EA or whatever, you know, these stinky companies popping up on screen being like, yes, we love Nintendo so much, they print us so much money, we're going to continue making video games for their system. And then as we do that, they'll show games, they'll release new trailers for stuff. Split Fiction would be another really good one for Switch. I know It Takes Two did really well on the original Switch. I think Switch 2, Split Fiction would make a whole bunch of sense. And then we've gone through all that, we've gone through the heavy hitters, and then we're going to hit back to Nintendo. Hit back to maybe Mr. Koizumi or Mr. Takahashi, who's the CEO of Nintendo right now. And they're going to talk about sort of like the logistics, pre-orders, all this kind of stuff for the new system coming up, blah, 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 blah. They're going to reaffirm the release date, May 22nd, 2025. They're going to reaffirm the price, $399 US. And then they're going to say, we have one more thing to show. This isn't for launch day, but it's coming this year. Take a look. And we're finally going to see a new 3D Mario game coming out. This makes the most sense as the big holiday game. I just can't see anything else that, you know, being that. I don't know what it's going to be like, but I'm excited to see it with my eyes in 2 weeks' time, hopefully. We've been overdue some 3D Mario. Bowser's Fury was hella fun, but it was quite short, and the last big 3D Mario game was Odyssey, which is absolutely amazing game, my favourite 3D Mario game, but I want to see what's next. That's a really great ender, it's a big crowd pleaser, everyone's going to be super excited. But I think that's going to be the thing that closes out the show. And then that's it. And then it will be into the chaos. The pre-orders are going to open. Everyone's going to go crazy. This thing is probably going to sell out. And then we're going to be happy because we're going to be living in Nintendo Switch 2 world. Other things I think they could do. I think there could be a section at the end where they're like, here's things we're working on for a little bit in the future, just to tease some video games. It'd allow Eiji Aonuma to come out and maybe talk some Zelda stuff. It's only been 2 years since Tears of the Kingdom, so I don't think he's going to really have much to show, but they could talk about what Zelda looks like, or maybe tease some kind of remake or something like that. Maybe even show a remake if they have something going. I think they could also talk about other franchises such as Animal Crossing. I would love a Yoshi's Island remake, so fuck it. We're predicting it. They're going to show off a Yoshi's Island remake for 2026 and be like, here it is. The beautiful SNES game remade for Nintendo Switch 2. Sure. And then also we have the Nintendo Switch Online playtest game. I think this is going to be part of Nintendo Switch 2, and I'm not sure what that looks like. I think it's going to use the new features in the C button that Nintendo haven't talked about yet, and it's going to, you know, it's going to be that big showcase for online gaming on Nintendo Switch 2. It will come out during the launch cycle. I think that'd be a really good game for like August or maybe July, just kind of like to tide people over. We also obviously have Pokemon Legends, which I don't think is going to be upgraded at all for Nintendo Switch 2, but you'll be able to play it on Switch 2. So there's that. So I'm expecting ZA and the next generation of Pokemon to still be Nintendo Switch 1 games, which, you know, that is what it is. And so yeah, I think those are all my predictions, but I think that's kind of what the Direct is going to look like. We're going to start with the hardware, then we're going to go into some of the software that's being created specifically for Switch 2 at launch, then we're going to talk about Mario Kart, then we're going to talk about upgraded video games, then we're going to get into Metroid Prime 4 being that big upgraded video game, then we're going to get into third parties, maybe talk about some of the stuff Nintendo has planned for the future for 2026, and then finally we're going to close it out with the 3D Mario holiday game. I feel like I've rambled at a camera for 35 minutes, and some of this could be nonsense. It probably all is, actually. So those are my predictions. We're going to watch it in 2 weeks' time, and then we'll know everything. We'll know everything that's happening, we'll know what Nintendo's doing. So all I can say for now is thank you so much for watching. I'm so excited for the Nintendo Switch 2 Direct. I'm going to be reacting to it, so subscribe to check that out after the broadcast has finished. Let me know down in the comments what you think. Are my predictions stupid? Do you have your own predictions? The crazier, the wackier, the better. I'm here for Yoshi's Island remake. I appreciate you all for watching, and I'll see you in the next video, which hopefully won't be Switch 2 predictions. Okay, bye.